All right. I am officially calling the January 14th, 2026 Historical Commission of Lower Makefield meeting to order. Number one on the agenda, introduction of our new Board of Supervisors liaison, who is here in person. Yay! Say what you want to say, Colin.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. I think I've met all of you at one point. For the sake of the recording, my name is Colin Coyle. I am one of the newest supervisors here in Lower Makefield Township, and I could not be happier to be working with a passionate group such as our lovely Historic Commission. I'm looking forward to sitting here with you this year and preserving the history of Lower Makefield. Here to help however I can.
Thanks, Colin.
Awesome. We love that. Oh, I forgot to do this first, but not necessarily relevant. Before we go any further, I need to appoint Jeff Bedzer as a voting member tonight because we have a vacancy and he is an alternate. So he is a voting member tonight. All right. Election of officers. Ugh. All right. So chair, vice chair, and secretary. So let's start with chair. Do we have nominations for chair of Historic Commission for 2026?
I nominate Cathy Hanville.
I second that nomination.
Monica nominates, Dave seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I just wish I'd gotten a screenshot picture of Joe's smirking face. Thank you everyone for your faith.
Thank you.
Vice chair nomination.
I nominate Joe Caramana.
That's my girl.
See,
Second.
Monica, you were getting on my good side for a minute there.
Dave second. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I guess I'm supposed to say opposed. Opposed. Okay. No, nobody opposed. I was just
Giving him the
I thought
chance.
Cathy opposed.
no, Cathy. He was like very insistent. If I was going to oppose, I'd oppose me. Secretary.
I nominate Helen Hines.
Is there a second?
I second.
Joe seconds.
She accept.
Are you going to accept? Thank you, Helen. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, unanimous. Like we like things. All right, so I guess I get to keep going. View and approval of November 2025 meeting minutes, as if anybody of us can remember, but I hope you reviewed them. And are there any changes that need to happen to them? Okay. Would somebody like to make a motion to accept them?
I move to accept the meeting minutes. Sorry.
30 seconds. You got to let him.
I got
have a
lots of
chance
moves.
to- No, she said it. He waved.
Whatever.
We're working on that. He's got to move a little faster to get ahead of Monica.
I got places to go, people. Come on.
All right. Yeah, we have a very rich agenda tonight, so we do want to move through the easy stuff. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Love it. Announcements, upcoming events, etc. Just looking at whether I put this somewhere else. No, I didn't. Okay. One announcement is just if you went to any historic commission related trainings, so any historical trainings, because we are required to get 2 hours each, please just send me what you went to so that I can give that to Jim Majewski for his reporting for us as a CLJ. And it's also easier if, as you attend them during the year, you send them to me because I have a little spreadsheet because I love a good spreadsheet. Yes. The one thing, I guess I can put it here under announcements and upcoming events. The one thing is, as far as announcements, upcoming events, I wanted to ask, sorry, Colin, I'm going to put you on the spot early. I would like to ask formally our liaison. We have had an open position on the commission for a few months since Victor resigned. Jeff has been a long-serving alternate and applied for said position, and nothing happened. So we would love for Jeff to be considered. I know we can't say anything further than that. To be considered to be appointed. We would love for him to be appointed, of course, but we're clear. The Board of Supervisors makes his decisions. And in the future, if you could get back to us and let us know if they're going to start doing interviews again for open positions, because we have 3 open alternate positions, and because they were not interviewing last year, we did not recruit for them. And also we have 3 members, Helen, Joe, and Tom, that their terms are up in February. So we would like them to be, I know Helen and Joe, Joe somewhat maybe reluctantly or definitely had let Katie know they were interested. I'm assuming Tom did the same, but I have not verified that. Last I talked to Tom, he said he wanted to stay on the commission.
I actually had a conversation with Katie after you today, and she said she'd put me on for that for sure.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that this stuff is heard, because for some reason last year,
We didn't know.
interviewing was not happening.
Heard and noted.
Thank you, Colin. We will move on to new business. Community Foundation requests. Monica kind of came with me because she deals with the Ghost Tour, which is our big money raiser. And we had a meeting with the finance director, Mega, and Dave Kratzner, the township manager, this week. And we got an official amount of what is in the account. Monica's going to look it up, but it's $15,000 and change we have in the Community Foundation account. So what the Community Foundation account is money that we have raised, and it goes to the Community Foundation. So it's sort of, in some ways, our discretionary money. Now, we do have to put a proposal to the Community Foundation board when we want to spend it. That is the funding source we used for the ground penetrating radar map, which I think was a great use of the money. And what I would like to propose or talk to you all about next steps is I have 2 ideas on how to spend the money. Idea 1 is, I was going to report on this later, but we had put in for this HARB grant for doing some of the archiving stuff and to restore that 1858 Hughes map that was donated to us. We did not get it. So I would like for us to consider one expenditure being $2,500. That was our best estimate we got to restore that 1858 Hughes map, because currently it's over at Dave's house and it's not useful to anybody in the shape that it's in. So that would be request 1. It's in Brooklyn, our best estimate, but Monica volunteered to take it there. So that would be request 1, and we could discuss them separately, but let me just give you both requests. Request 2 is, as you saw, the Eagle Scouts did the segregated side path, and we'll talk more about that later. And we paid $0 for that. And as soon as Joe walked on the path, he texted me and said, "When are we going to do the rest of it?" So I asked Piedmont Design, who were the landscapers that donated the labor, the initial labor before the Eagle Scouts came in, because some of it needed equipment. And I asked him to give me an estimate for finishing the path all the way through. So he gave me an estimate I can send out to all of you. It was $8,300 and change. And as part of it, I negotiated the way the Eagle Scouts did it. It's a little uneven, like it's not level with the earth next to it. So it could be a tripping hazard. So as part of the estimate, they would do like all of the actual like leveling of the property, and they would fix that part of the segregated side too. So I think I explained both things. So I'd like people to think about, because we don't necessarily have a whole process for this. Do we want to spend the money? Do we want to do it on this project? Do we want to get more estimates? How would we want to handle it?
Two things. How much is a new basic Hughes map that is in better condition than that one? Could we find a map about the same cost that's in better condition? No,
I mean, every time we've looked for Hughes maps. And actually, when Dawn was doing research for the grant, the Library of Congress actually does not have a copy of that map. So we would be doing a service to this country.
No, there used to be 3 at the Mercer Museum, and I know while I was there, one was stolen.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't think getting a new map is an option. And
That was,
Mhm.
you know, I knew that, I knew.
Mhm.
That's the problem. Florence had one. Second question about Piedmont. Can we negotiate with them for, as we're saying, like getting the Scout, an Eagle Scout to do the leveling on, piggyback on one of their projects that they took down the price, say $1,000, $2,000. Negotiate that.
If that is something that is strongly wanted, I will say dealing with the Eagle Scouts and the coordination of all of this with the township took considerable
Mhm.
efforts on my part. And as I told you, Helen says she's got an Eagle Scout interested to do
Right.
something.
Mhm.
When were we considering doing it? Question, because I think he has to do it fairly fast.
It wouldn't be, this is not a fast project.
So it's not gonna happen like.
Probably not, because we also have to coordinate, because I have to prove to the Board of Supervisors that the path doesn't go over any dead bodies.
It's just my question.
So there's a lot of stuff, and we have one stone that is going to get fixed in the next round that is sort of in an awkward position. So we would have to figure out some things to move forward. It's not a, it's going to happen now thing.
Mhm.
But we did, maybe could find another project for him that could happen.
We can definitely talk about that when we head to Slate Hill, and Monica can hopefully help think about that.
I have opinions. First of all, just total, we're talking about, well, so you guys know, the official balance is $15,852.94. So just shy of 16,000, and you're talking about 25 and 8 something.
Yeah, 83 and change.
So 10,500, give or take. So yeah, so that would leave a remaining balance between somewhere between 5 and 6,000, just so we know what we're talking about with the cost.
Yes.
Mhm.
Um,
So I think I love the idea of restoring the map, because I know, I mean, I'm no archivist, but I'm assuming every day it just sits in a home, it deteriorates a little bit more. So I feel like it's a great. Yeah, so I feel like I really believe in that. The path, I think, would be great. But if that's not a priority to people, I'm certainly not going to throw a fit over it. I do think if we do the path, I like the idea of yes, I think we should get a couple of different proposals in. If they're similar, I would like to stick with Piedmont because they supported the Scout project so much. Yeah, so those are my opinions on that. I definitely vote for the map. I think we have the money, and based on the changes we want to make with the ghost tour next year, we're going to make more money. We're not going to make $10,000, but I'm hoping we can bring in around $4,000, give or take, next year for the ghost tour. So, and this money's been sitting here for years. We've never done anything with it. So I don't know. I'm game for it, but I can be debated out of the path.
On the map, what, after it's restored, what will be done with it?
Well, that is a very good question,
Mm.
Joe, and probably for the initial, in the beginning, we will have to buy a frame for it, which Dawn did put some money in the archiving budget, not for the best frame, but at least a frame that would be worthy of it for a little while. I mean, honestly, initially, it's probably going to be back in the safe with the deeds, but we're going to bring those out for the open houses and stuff. I mean, eventually, I know Dawn's hope was that we would have a space to show stuff. We all know that that's not a near future thing, but I would like to be bringing it out for like the ghost tour and our open houses,
Good
etc.
idea. Good idea.
Can I
mean,
suggest, can I suggest that we consider getting a digitization process done? Because if there's only been 3 of them, one of them's been stolen, this one's damaged. Can we do something once it's restored to digitize it so it's available for others who are doing research? Because us
can
just
find-
having something in a closet and pulling it out
You can
doesn't seem
find
to
it
be
online.
that useful.
I mean, you can, Jeff, you can find it online. I mean, I used it a lot for the Patterson farm work. So it's, if you look at it, if you look up 1858, it has been digitized. It is available online.
Okay.
I need to double check that estimate and see if digitization was part of it, because that was part of our initial plan, and that would be part of the whole idea. We would want to digitize it too. So
Cool.
yes. So we could also say, I mean, we could also make a motion or whatever tonight that, I mean, what I heard Monica say is she would like, I have my landscaper that gave an initial estimate for the path, but he did it in a way that was like penny pinching. So what I'd like to give him an opportunity to do is apples to apples. And if somebody else has a landscaper they want to ask, I can send them this and you can just take out the money and, you know, we can get an equivalent, you know, get 2 other bids. Or one other, I could get 1 other bid. It's if somebody else wants to get a second bid, I'm fine with that.
Just a word
Yeah.
on why I thought it had 2 benefits. First of all, it's for the people walking through. It makes it much safer footing than actually walking before on on the dirt, and the dirt was uneven and things like that. So that was the first thing that I noticed. But I think the second benefit, the benefit for the cemetery, is that there's a path and people tend to stay on paths and not wander all over the place, which I think is also a good thing in terms of if you want to walk through the cemetery, here's where you walk through, and it keeps people away from, you know, the tombstones and things like that. Unless they're actually doing research, you're going to look, that's fine too, but you don't have people accidentally walking into them or bumping into them.
Yeah, you know, we can keep discussing if you guys have things to say, but if we're good, I would move to vote on the map, spending that money on the map, and to have 2 other bids done for the path, and that we vote on the path costs next month. That's what I'd like to do to move things forward.
Was that a motion?
Is that a motion?
If unless anybody wants to debate more, yes. I don't want to
Well,
shut you
make a
guys up.
motion, we discuss it, but
You'll second that? Okay.
Okay, so
move.
Monica has a motion on the floor that we move forward with the map. I would like to have some freedom with the cost because we'll make sure that the digitization is part of it, or we can get another estimate for that. I need to verify all of that. I was just pulling that.
I know the guy in.
Because it might be, it's probably a separate process. So why don't we just move? We'll get the map restored, or I will put into the community foundation a request for us to spend the money to get the map restored. And I will get 1 other landscaper estimate, and can somebody else get the
Anyone else have one? I'm too cheap. I don't have a landscaper, sorry.
I don't know landscaper either.
Okay, Dave will ask his.
Dave's on it,
And
thanks.
like I said, send you the estimate I have, and if you just kind of, you know, I'll create a scope of work based on that so that it's fair. Okay, and I'll bring that back next month. Okay, Monica made a motion, Helen seconded, all in favor? Aye. Awesome sauce. Thank you.
Cathy, I wanted to mention that in your letter to the supervisors, probably the most important aspect of the work on Slate Hill Cemetery was the removal of those trees. That is
Oh.
the biggest impact,
Yeah.
and
That's-
it's really visually just, whoa.
Yeah.
So, I would just say that.
Okay, yeah, so Helen is referring to my letter on the 2025 accomplishments. So this isn't like totally on the agenda. I actually was gonna also ask Colin, do you want the letter to go to you? Or typically I send stuff to Dave that goes into the Board of Supervisors packet, but.
Then you can read it, just pull it.
Well, I have read it. Yeah, I've read it. No, listen, I don't need to be a gatekeeper between you and the board, right? So please feel free just to send it to Dave, ask him to direct it to the whole board, or yeah, it's the right way to do it.
So, okay, because I've been accused of doing things not the right way, so I'm very conscious of.
I might be doing it the wrong way too, but we'll be doing it the wrong way together.
Together.
The way I have done it typically.
Yeah.
So I will amend that letter and add the tree stuff. You're right, I totally missed that. And Jeff gave me some wording and saying tabling the veterans table instead of attending, because that is what we did. And he also added a comment about some of the research done on the dark house. And then I will forward that in our 2026 goals that were approved months ago. All right. Girl, you're taking me off the agenda.
Sorry.
I'm trying so
I,
hard.
I just did accomplishments.
Yeah, no, that's
Added
good.
I added something under number 4.
Perfect. Okay. If you have anything else you want me to add to that letter, just email or text me. All right, so action items. So I sent you all a copy and Colin has sat on planning, so he might be able to give us additional insight on this whole process, which is terribly confusing to all of us. And we're also going to have one of the staff, Dan, probably come in and talk to us about it at some point, Dan McClung. But LMT ordinance requires that when there's these plans done, that certain commissions weigh in as it goes to the planning board. So what the problem typically has been is that in the time between, so it comes to me, but the time between I receive it, when it has to be into planning and when our next meeting is, never works. So I would like to entertain a motion that you are all giving me approval to respond to these things. And of course, I'll do like I did last time. I'll send it out for comment. But I feel like it's extra important for us to kind of go on the record for every historic house.
Well, that's what you're talking about, plans coming in for
Yes.
regarding historic
Yes.
properties.
So like the one we just did for 1 Sutphin Road.
Yes,
Our basic statement was, we don't have any objections, but we are noting there is a historic home on the property
that will be impacted.
that could be impacted, and we are keeping an eye on it.
Yes. That's perfect.
And I did run it by both Helen and Joe initially, because Helen is actually the only one of us who can read a map accurately.
This is my
I
husband.
can't read it at all, and Joe thought the house was being torn down. So can, is somebody willing to make a motion that I can, further, that I have the authority to do that in between? Jeff is making the I think you have to say it out loud.
Motion made.
I think you have to make the motion that Cathy or the chair has the authority to respond to planning commission, requests on behalf of historic commission.
Make the motion that Cathy represent the Historic Commission on comments that happen in between our regular meeting cycles to ensure we are compliant.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second that.
Dave is our sweet seconder today.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Joe's aye. Opposed? All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, Joe, you're up. Patterson Farm, National Register. I know you all read all 125 pages and studied them very hard.
So what I'd like to do maybe is give everyone an overview of the process, where it goes. So this nomination was drafted, and it will be submitted to PA SHPO. And PA SHPO has then 60 days to respond to that. So they very much consider this to be a draft, right? So right now it's a technical review of the nomination, and they'll get back to us and say, hey, it's technically correct, or you should add more weight here, or something like that. We'll get their feedback from that, okay? They have 60 days to provide that. They also have then the opportunity during that time to schedule a site visit to Patterson Farm. I would say normally they would, because there's 15 different buildings that we had to assess as we went through that and date. However, it wasn't last year, it was the year before. Jennifer Thornton and Megan McNish came out to the farm and walked it with us, and Helen was there with me at that time. So they may say, look, we've already done that, or they may say, no, we want to come back, and we want to come back with people from what they call their historic review board in order to review the farm. Once we get that information back, we have to update the nomination and then send it back. And then it gets reviewed by the Historic Review Board for Historical Significance. This board only meets 4 times a year, okay? So we're not going to make their winter or spring meeting. They have a June meeting, and then they have an October meeting. In the best case, if the process goes smoothly, we would be able to get on the agenda for the June meeting, and by halfway through the year, have the nomination for Patterson Farm. If actually the feedback they give us requires a little bit more time, then we'll get pushed to the October meeting. but we could still have the farm listed by the end of the year. So I just wanted to kind of give that overview of the process and let you know that what is in front of you is a draft that I want to send to them. So I would be open to making some changes to that in terms of supporting the significance of the claims. But it's not the last time that we can make those changes. Once we get their feedback, then we can do another rewrite of that. So I just wanted to give the perspective that it's not like, hey, tell me now or forever hold your peace. It's tell me what you have now that you think could improve the draft. If we have time to get it done by the end of the month, we will. Otherwise, I really would like to get this draft submitted to them by the end of January.
Okay, I'm just going to do a quick assessment because Helen wasn't totally hearing you, although I think Colin solved that
Yeah.
problem at the
It's
end.
hard audio though, so.
It is
thank
hard
you.
audio.
Yeah.
So he was just kind of reviewing the process and basically, and Joe, you can tell me if I get this wrong. The next step is if it's a draft, it goes to SHPO for review. They have 60 days. They may or may not come out for another visit since they already visited once. Joe, then after that, it comes back to us for some additional feedback or to implement their changes and any additional changes that we might decide to make. And then it has to go to the official state board, which only meets 4 times a year.
I know that.
Okay, and then, all right, so, okay, got it. So now I know you have a comment.
Yeah, I have a comment. Joe, I'm concerned. There were some notable lapses. I think I don't want to go in public and go page to page and do some stuff on this, but we discussed it before. I'd like to meet with you over it and make some of the needed changes that reflect especially earlier periods to the nomination and discuss whether we're doing that at 1740 onward, or we're going to include much more before 1740. I'm a colonialist, and in the last 3 weeks, I have found some earth-shattering changes that need to go into that document. Just so you know.
Yeah, I would say, Ellen, I think the best way that I could handle, because I'm getting feedback from a lot of different places, is certainly I would be open to a meeting, but what I would really rather prefer is written feedback with noted sources for those, and if possible, the sources themselves for review. Because if the research has been done, I'm happy to include it in the nomination, but I'm really not up for doing additional research. I guess maybe that's the best way of saying it. If the research is done and it's been documented, I can put it into the writing.
It's been done and documented.
Then if I could get if I could get something to review and then we can sit down and discuss any questions.
Yeah, I also have an issue about the writing itself, if you recall.
Yeah,
That we needed to repair part of the verb tenses, etc., and other things that were in the writing itself. I don't want to submit to the state something that is not of the best quality.
Okay, I guess all right. I mean, best thing I can say is the more feedback that I can get in writing on that document.
Okay, I will do that, Joe.
I've had other people read it, and again, I'm getting feedback from a number of different sources. So
Yeah, I saw that. And one of the things that is really worrisome is Cathy Auerbach's drawings that were included at the end. They're really unprofessional and didn't reflect the actual building. And that's a problem.
I would debate that because I visited the building with her and we'd have the pictures. So
What she's pictured is the opposite. Never mind. We'll discuss it
then we should
in
review it
person.
then. But I guess then what I'm hearing is then we're probably not going to get this submitted by the end of January.
I don't see why not. We can work on
Because
this.
first of all, I'm not in Pennsylvania, so that's probably one big reason. Unless you want to meet remotely and go through it.
The other option is you could send it to me and I will add in those things.
It's on the Google Drive. I saw you making comments on the Google Drive. You can make comments
I
in.
can't get the Google Drive with my computer.
Okay, so
Well, I have a question, just because I know Patterson Farm hasn't been a big one on my list. But I know it was being talked about when I joined. How long have we been talking about doing this application?
20 years. 20 years.
And how long is the current application?
something around 125 pages. And I would also note that what's the exact word for it, Joe, when something has been, it's been deemed eligible already?
Yeah, determination of eligibility, right?
Okay, so there was a determination of eligibility done by the state, which means basically it's a lower haul for the application. Joe did a very thorough application. He could have done a much less thorough application and probably would have been accepted because of the determination, right?
Right. I mean, here's,
No, it was rejected. It was the determination was given, it was entered again, and that was rejected. That's the problem.
what was
No,
rejected?
No, hold on. No. A while ago, back in 2004, the Heritage Conservancy did a submission. That was rejected.
Yes.
I submitted the determination of eligibility 2 years ago. I have the letters that's basically.
Oh, the newer one. Okay, for the,
Yes,
that, okay.
so.
Was that in basis with the work of the Milner company for the, or
No,
was
I
it?
mean, the determination of eligibility is fairly straightforward. You just have to have a statement of historical significance, and you have to show photos that demonstrate integrity. It's not a high hurdle, but it's important because any type of federal government project, Section 106 reviews, once you have a determination of eligibility, they pop up on the screen. I don't think anyone's putting a highway through, well, they almost put a highway through Patterson Farm. I don't think they're putting another highway or building another cloverleaf. But the cloverleaf project's a really good example, right? Where when that cloverleaf was done, because there was a determination of eligibility, the first one was done all the way back in 1998. They had to review the farm for adverse impacts. The problem is determinations, they expire after 5 years. So you have to keep redoing it in order to stay on the federal government dashboard. But no, look, I think I am open. If there's additional work that needs to be put in, I would be happy to put it in. I just need to make sure that it's well sourced. I mean, this isn't a presentation to an outside. This is something that's going to SHPO, and if it's not footnoted and we don't have sources for these things, they'll kick it back to us immediately. I mean, for those of you that saw it, I mean, there's about over 100 footnotes, I believe, in there now. So it just needs to be very well sourced.
Here's the thing. It's killing me how long we've been talking about this and we haven't been able to do anything with it. And I don't feel like we're writing the Constitution. And to that point, there's room for adjustments, like he was just saying, right? So I make a motion. Well, hold on. But before I make like a real motion, let me just get my thoughts out from what we're saying and just try and make sense of it. Because he's out of town, but he wants to get this done by the end of January, which I wholeheartedly agree with. Like, send him those notes and that you have with the sources.
He'll agree with them, but that's the problem.
I think if there's sources, right? You're not going to argue that with this if there's legit sources to work into it. But if that's done,
if it's sourced, I can work it in, right?
Yeah, if he can get that and work it in and submit it by the end of January, I think that's what we should do because this just seems crazy. It's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect, and there's always going to be more to put in. But it seems like we have more than enough to move forward.
It's absolutely true, but there's kind of like some crucial things, like proving that the property was actually where Thomas Janney lived is one. Proving that Joseph Janney was there was two. That when Bailey arrived is three. There's some things that basically I have solved those issues, and I think they should go in.
Yeah, if we have that information, but also I don't know enough about the process. Like, are you saying they're not going to, without that information, we won't get?
I think they would. That there's really good reason to reject it. Yeah.
Oh, I don't. I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that. Because
The other
I've
thing-
read other nominations. I have read
Oh,
other
I agree with you. I
nominations
agree with you
for
that other
for historic
nominations are
agricultural
helpful.
districts, and they are
Yes.
nowhere close to
But
being as
Joe,
thorough as that closest.
on some respects, I understand that, but on others, if my name's on it, I want it to be right.
Well-
It's just the way it is.
Whose name's on it? I thought it was like,
My name's on. I'm the submitter.
I don't, yeah. Okay, so Colin has very strong feelings.
Mhm.
I guess I'm trying to figure out, because I also feel like Monica and I do agree with her, like to get this going
Mhm.
and get it submitted. And I'm not sure how we do that.
My holdup right now is I am reading your nomination on my phone because it's the only device that I can actually pull it up, and it immediately tracks back to page one. I have to go through the phone forever to get it back to wherever I was reading. So it's a really difficult for me to access the pages. Is there some way you can resend it to me that's not in the Google Drive?
No, because it's too heavy of a
It's
file.
like
I asked him
334
that.
megabytes. Yeah.
Can you
I
send
mean,
me a zip drive?
Can Kathy? Can the township print it out for Helen?
Well, it's a lot of pages. I don't know if the township would do it.
Hundred some pages. Yeah.
Would the township do it?
If you send me the file, I will print it out tomorrow and Helen can pick it up at her convenience.
Okay, so I mean, my question here is, what I'm hearing is, because I don't feel comfortable
Mhm.
voting to approve it with this pending stuff,
Mhm.
like,
I'm fine.
you know, so it would mean putting it off until next month, which I know Joe is definitely
No, I
not a
mean,
fan of, but
it's fine if that's what it needs to be. I mean, it should be it should be reviewed and approved by this commission before submitting.
yes. Yeah, and I'm not comfortable improving it with, let's see what happens with all of this stuff.
I think it'll be way better with what I know.
I'm not going to debate that. So what I'm going to suggest is you get with Joe,
Yeah.
and next month we make a decision.
I'll-
If your stuff isn't sourced or given to him by then, we're still making a decision.
Okay.
That sounds legit.
Thoughts, Joe? I see you making a thoughtful face.
I guess I'll come back to it would be helpful to have it in writing.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what we're saying. It has to be in writing, especially with you not being present.
You know, it's not just about that. Even, I mean, Monica, I sat with people and they review things and
Yeah.
they'll give hundreds of comments. And
No, it's too,
I
no,
can't
it's
write-
too much
I can't write
work.
100 comments down, right? So, I mean, I guess when I have done this before professionally, when you review documents, you have a written review of that document, right?
Mhm.
And you provide feedback that way. And
Yeah,
then
I think-
when you want to add things, you add it and you say, okay, here it is, and here's my footnotes to support that. And then the author needs to go back and verify that. And then if it's verified, add it to the document.
Well, I agree. And if it helps, I would make a motion that Helen submit any notes in writing to you. I will make that motion if that helps, because I think we all agree. And it sounds like the
First.
problem, yeah, with sources, yeah. But it sounds like the problem is you haven't been able to get a
Right.
hold of the document. So if you can email those notes directly.
Read the end of it.
Mhm.
The part that I read pretty thoroughly is the beginning section, which is where most of these different changes are. There's a bit at the end that I would add in, which you don't have on the current state of the agriculture out there with the GIS systems that they're actually using. But other than that, that's just the end thing. The
Mhm.
beginning part is much more critical.
So yeah, I move to Helen submit her notes and sources in writing to Joe.
Me, Joe, I will be very thorough in my notes.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think it's going to be wonderful. What you have is excellent.
I don't know if we need to
I have read other
vote on it.
submissions in agriculture, and they are abysmal. And I think we'll have a stand-away start, but you know, it's got to be just tweaked, okay?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Do we need to vote on this, or are we in agreement? I don't know that we need to vote.
Discussion.
Yeah, I don't think we need to vote on it, even though Monica made a motion. Okay.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes, absolutely.
So just to say, the work I'm sure has been fantastic. 125 pages. It's more than I would ever write on any topic. I think Patterson Farm is an area of great interest to the board this year, especially with the recent recipient of a sizable grant to help accelerate work. In addition to that large grant, we still have several $100,000 that the town has set towards projects there. So I think that undue delay on this process would be a mistake, given that there is about to begin a lot of activity on that property. Any motion that we could get forward on this process would be to the benefit. It would be criminal for us to have contractors begin work there and, potentially working around thing that is presumed historic and not taking the proper care. So if we have the designation when we begin the work, it's helpful for bid process and for being clear for standards for contractors.
That makes sense.
So are you saying we should, I mean, I know you're, giving us feedback and whatever, but is the delay to February going to be a problem?
I don't believe a delay of a month would be a problem.
Okay.
I'm simply saying,
Okay.
it sounds like you have a good plan to proceed forward.
Okay.
To take all the input that you need to finalize this and
Yes.
get it wrapped up with a bow. But my recommendation would be that, Joe's done this professionally. He feels that it's good enough to clear the bar. You folks want to extend until February. That certainly seems sensible, but any delay beyond that is probably not to the benefit of the township.
Okay. Yes. And yes, I am going formally on the record as saying, like, I want to vote on this in February.
Same.
Okay. So we'll just leave it at that then, Jeff. Okay. All right. Whew. Merger with HARB update and vote. We had a pretty lengthy discussion at our last meeting in November about the proposed merger of Historical Commission and HARB. We did not take a vote on it because, well, that's just not typically been the way we roll. But when I gave public comment at the Board of Supervisors at midnight, I was, yelled at a lot. And one of the things was said is that we should have taken a vote. So I'm not sure if it's still on the table or not on the table. But I think we need to just touch base on this again and have a formal vote as to what we want. I have some language because, I mean, we could go, I know Helen is pretty much dead set against the merger.
Well, it's not practical, and it would put undue burdens on all of us to then become involved in petty disputes among people coming in for changes in shutters and paint colors and things to our board, which should be doing other things. And we don't need that.
Yeah, and I think it also would seem to mean disbanding both and then having everybody reapply, which gives me some concern.
None of us are registered architects, and on that particular board, I think there's 3 registered architects.
Okay.
Let them deal with what they're good at.
So I think that there's a few ways we could go. We could go the way Helen is suggesting, and we could vote, no, we don't support it at all, period. That is one way.
I will make that motion.
Okay. And hold the motion because I want to have the discussion before we get the motions, and we can have multiple motions and vote on everything because I want everybody to have their say and it be a democratic process. In discussions Joe and I had with Dave Kratzner when we pushed ourselves into the loop, since we weren't, what we had suggested is that if it happened, and this was not a yes, we support it, that it would have to make sure it satisfied all the requirements of us being a CLG because we get funding that way. And that because we are already in that, our representative from the State Historic Preservation Office, Megan, has just started a CLG review of LMT.
Yeah.
which is meant to give us both HARB and historic guidance on things we could be doing differently, better, other projects, grants we could apply for, all of that, that it would be detrimental to make a merger before all of that feedback came into play, which I think when I last talked to Megan, the earliest would probably be April. It would definitely be some months around the road. I think the other things I expressed to the Board of Supervisors is my concern that if you're going to merge two commissions, I am of the opinion that at least, at minimum, the two chairs should be consulted and give some feedback, if not the entire commissions, which I think would be even better because Joe's got different perspective than me. Helen's been around since
1984.
forever. So, or I guess we could do a motion somewhere in between saying we don't support it until the CLG report comes in and then we'll reevaluate it. Unless somebody sees another option in there.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I've made it clear, I'm very uncomfortable. I just don't understand. And I feel like seeing what Megan comes up with would be, again, not strictly to this discussion, but what she presents to us will help with this. And I feel like I don't have enough information to have an opinion one way or the other. So I very much would say I vote against it for now until we hear back on the review and know kind of more what we're talking about. That's my opinion.
HARB is actually an official body of the Board of Supervisors, when we're just an advisory commission. That is a whole different, they have a legal duty and an emphasis. Their licenses are on the line for various things. I mean, there's supposed to be a real estate agent on that board as well. I don't know if there is right now. I know the zoning official service is part of it, but voting members, it's a big deal. They affect a lot of the enterprise in various places in Lower Makefield, and they have not been utilized the way they should be. And I think Megan's going to focus on that more than what we do with them. I don't see the need to vote to anything. I mean, I think that we've never been given as you said, you weren't even notified by the Board of Supervisors, and we're just sort of discussing something that we heard was in the wind. And until we get some official notice.
No, it was discussed at the Board of Supervisors. And I feel very strongly that there needs to be a vote because I was yelled at because there wasn't a vote.
Yeah, we were basically told.
Should do that. Okay.
Yes. So it is important to me that we, as a full commission, so this is not Cathy Hanville giving her perspective.
Yeah.
This is the full commission's recommendation.
I stand by my motion then. No.
Okay. So
it's not been seconded.
yeah, let's go back to motions. Does anybody else have any other questions, comments, things to say on the issue?
I just wanted to say, first of all, that I agree with Helen that I have no desire to be discussing shutter colors in Edgewood Village. But that doesn't mean that there can't be some type of a commission where those people who are licensed and informed could work on those issues and people who are experienced in other areas work on others, right? I mean, that happens quite a bit. You don't need an entire commission to always vote on every topic. So I would say that I see the opportunity for synergies between the two, but I would like to see a detailed plan about how that would work because we are a CLG, right? And a CLG is more than just enforcing design guidelines. And if you look at what the CLG is written about, and we always talk about how we educate, how we advocate, and how we preserve, right? They are the basics there, and that's what we are doing. So I would say that we, more than HARB, are fulfilling the township's requirements of being a certified local government. That doesn't mean that HARB doesn't have a very valuable role in what they do in Edgewood Village. They do, and it's not something that we can do. I would like, though, as Monica said, to have the opportunity to have an evaluation done by the SHPO to say could it function as one commission, and what would those decision-making processes look like?
Well, Joe, at one time, we had a liaison to HARB,
Yeah.
and HARB had a liaison to our board that
Mhm.
would come to meetings. I think that's like the best way to reconcile what you're talking about, because some of us have expertise in weird things about old houses that maybe some of the architects don't.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's always open, but
So I would say is, first off, I have not heard from the township or the board of supervisors what problem they're trying to solve by the merger, other than they want less commissions in the township, which, okay, fine. I think that that's not a bad thing. I do think it would behoove all historical groups, Patterson Farm, Historic Commission, and HARB, to be better unified
Mhm.
and work together better. So I am not against that. But I also, we are a very functional commission. We get shit done. And I want to continue to do that. So I would think that I know you want a hard no, Helen, but I'm also hearing maybe Monica, and where Joe's at is that we have a hard no until we get a written plan and Megan's feedback or the CLG review, and then we will put it back on the agenda again for further discussion.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
Is that, I mean, I know it's not exactly what you want, but
means that there'll be more discussion of it, which is, I see, I mean, because my husband's on the HARB.
right.
I know that that is something I really don't want to do, the same reasons as Joe. Sorry, which is true. They are much better equipped to deal with the public on a general basis as professional, architects and real estate people. It just seems to me that I don't think the township understands their role, and maybe what Megan will help
Yes.
be to make it clear to the township what a useful tool they are to take things off the plate of the board of supervisors that they don't have to deal with, if they can say, well, why don't you bring that to the HARB meeting?
I think that there's definitely room for HARBs to expand their role. They don't have enough to do,
Yeah.
in my opinion, which is why they never
It's
meet.
going to happen when the.
And I don't really care about shutter colors either, and I don't even control colors in my own home.
Retail does go into Edgewood Village as it will eventually happen that the retail goes up Stony Hill Road, and those people that paid $700,000 for their houses suddenly have to deal with dumpsters at 4 a.m. That's going to come to the Board of Supervisors in a big way, and it would be good to be able to kind of download that,
Okay.
I would think.
I just wanna
So
interrupt you.
do we have a motion? Oh, Joe, sorry.
I care about shutter covers. I just don't want to be the ones picking them, right? But I do
Mhm.
care. I do care that.
Yes.
What I meant to say is I
Good point.
do
I don't
care
care
that the design guidelines for Edgewood Village are appropriately enforced,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
I mean, it's really a shame what's happened with Edgewood Village, right? So I do care that that's appropriately enforced. But as Helen said, I don't feel like I am qualified to be the one who enforces them.
Right, and my concern is that in a merger, then they're gonna get all architects, and then the rest of us are history, and we lose the projects that we're working on and passionate about. I came to this commission to work about Slate Hill. Like, I have been dragged into lots of other things, but that is my passion.
Mhm.
But I mean, I would give like one of the requirements of a CLG is to keep up-to-date information on local historic resources. And we know for the past year we've been, and we're going to continue doing this historic resource survey. That's not something HARB does, right? That's something that we do. So I don't, again, I'm not dismissing their value. I'm not just
No,
saying
HARB's very valuable.
But I'm also saying that I would be open to say, is there a way to have a single commission that handles these things, but not have 20 people opining upon everything? That's never going to work, right? We need to figure out how that would be structured and how those decision-making processes would happen. And what would the membership be like, you know?
The way I put it to people is that we deal with the entire township, with the history of the township from its beginning till the present day. HARB deals with the architecture of a particular commercial district
Yeah.
at the center of the town and tries to keep it pristine.
Yeah, that's a great way of saying it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah, I'm not going to go into
Okay.
feelings about Edgewood because we need to get through this meeting. Does somebody else want to make a motion?
Yeah, I move to vote no for now on the merge, and but be willing to review it again once we've received written information on the plan from the Board of Supervisors and Megan's review, which hopefully they would take into account before making their written plan. But I would like to discuss this again. I really want to discuss what Megan discovers. I think this will just be part of that conversation. That's my motion.
Can I refine Monica's motion to say that specifically what I would like to see is a recommendation on how a joint commission would be structured, what the membership of that commission would be, and an outline of its key decision-making processes?
So I actually don't agree with that. Sorry, Monica. Because I think I would like Megan to come in and make her recommendation. Should it happen? Should it not happen? And if it happens, what it would look like. Because I don't know that she totally supports the idea or not. I would like the expert to weigh in.
Right. But I think in addition, and hopefully after that, we would get the Board of Supervisors plan with specific information.
And I mean, honestly, we're taking a vote and the Board of Supervisors can say, poof, we
Yeah.
don't
Pretty much,
care.
right, yeah. Pretty much.
But, you know, I mean,
my
we're just,
commission for doing it
we
anyway.
are, as Helen said, an advisory committee.
Yeah.
I would say maybe, so Monica, like the motion is,
Motion is to vote no until further date when we receive Megan's
To revisit
review.
municipal officer's official visit.
And request
no, official
review.
and a plan from the Board of Supervisors.
And a decision by the Board of.
No,
No, we
Plan.
would like to see the plan first if we're going
It's
to,
the whole plan?
I mean, it doesn't have to be 125 pages.
I liked Mr. Camerata's language. It
Yeah.
contained healthy detail.
yeah, I like yeah. So the plan, Helen, the plan would include the leadership structure.
Okay, so you mean in the BOS plan?
Yeah.
CLG thing.
No, and the BOS, the Board of Supervisors plan would
To it. Just say supervisors.
no. Suggested we be as detailed as
Specificity.
possible.
Oh,
So
I'm
I'm,
here to help us.
Specificity is the spice of life.
so it's my motion. Listen up. All right.
I don't think they understand the issues yet. That's what I'm saying. They need to.
Right.
They need to visit from the SHPO.
Right, of course. And so after,
Is actually.
Okay, let him finish your motion.
Helen, I'm
please.
still going. Ellen, I'm still going. So the plan to include from the Board of Supervisors, ideally after Megan has done her review, would include the leadership structure, the decision-making process, and what key things they're deciding on. What was the third one, Joe? Help me out. Call, phone a friend?
The membership, membership credentials.
Ooh, membership.
Decision process and procedure for implementation, or review of. What they do is they read on, they read the plans that the developers are coming in, to build. And then no one goes back and sees whether they built it that.
Right. Well, now we're getting in the weeds.
Yeah, we don't want to be in the weeds. We want to get this motion clear, and I want you to
Yes.
actually write it down and send it to him.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
Okay, so do it again, Monica.
Okay, so I move
Monica's going to do it again and write it down.
that.
Official, report and plan from Board of Supervisors describing structure, decision,
And credentials of those on the board, or, right?
Credentials of those on the board that would need
On
to
the
be on the
commission.
board,
Mhm.
on the commission.
Whatever it is.
I don't know. It HARB's the board and we're a commission, so. Well, he's talking about like architecture and stuff like that.
Like who's on it and why? No, the new one.
But the
we're
new
saying,
one.
The new one, their new plan. Right. Okay, thanks.
Okay,
Second that, please. I'm exhausted.
okay, so the motion on the floor is we're waiting for Monica and we want a specific plan from the Board of Supervisors naming the three things that we just went over. Is there a second? Dave, my second man. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Are you gonna Helen is opposed. Are you abstaining or opposed, Joe?
I had one question.
Okay, we can pull it back.
I agree with what Monica said, but are we requesting that come from the board or come from PA SHPO?
From the board.
I think the way I understood it, because I misunderstood it in the beginning, or one of us did, is that we want a recommendation from Megan on everything, and then we want a specific plan from the Board of Supervisors on implementation, including all of those aspects. Now, I'm hearing you say that maybe you wanted that from Megan, but my concern with that is then I feel like we're leading Megan down a path that I would like her to make a decision independently as our expert.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
Okay, so how are you going to vote?
I'm going to abstain.
Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 in favor, 1 opposed, and 1 abstention.
This is exciting.
Yeah, this is like the first time this has happened.
Love it.
Okay, so the motion passes. And I think Helen needs to go on the record as saying she's she's voting no because she wants a full block.
Yes.
So put that in the minutes, Helen.
Opposed or a no.
She wants a full no. Okay. I hear you. Thank you all for indulging me on the vote. Township Historic Resources Survey Grant. Joe, please lead on this. I'm exhausted.
Okay. As many of you know, we started this process last year. We received a CLG grant, a Certified Local Government grant, in order to do a review of the historic resources. And what we did last year was from 1698 or 1692, whenever we found it, up to the end of up to 1899, right? So we reviewed all of those resources. We hired a consultant who came in, made a determination. He made a determination of significance based on architectural significance, not just, he made a determination of significance and of integrity. We grouped them into an ABC category of that. So what we're looking at doing now is extending that to the 20th century. And the time period specifically we're looking at is from 1900 to the end of World War II, just to the end of World War II, to 1945. And it's about, in total, I think 300 and some properties that are there. Lower Makefield changed a lot in that time, right? And it's one of the most important ways that our housing changed is subdivisions, where before we were just building houses on lots, on farms that were subdivided or lots. We started building in subdivisions. So the number of houses that we're going to see going forward for a given time period is going to increase by orders of magnitude, So we're looking at, 300 and some resources in that time frame. And I went back and checked with Megan. I said, hey, if we have a subdivision, can we just treat it as its own entity? And she said, no. You actually have to look at and create a record of every house in that subdivision, right? So that's how we wind up picking that period. I got her to approve the methodology that we would use, and we have been talking to Jeff Marshall to continue as a consultant. Jeff has provided us with a budget, and he and I are working on a project plan. It's very common, similar to the project plan that we use for phase 1. And then when I have that information by the end of the week, I'll send it over to Monica. And then Monica will pull the whole application together. And Cathy, I'll send it back to you with regards to timing of BOS approval.
Is this another Keystone grant or what is this?
No, it's a CLG grant.
It's a CLG grant. Okay, so a few kind of little things I want to add is we realized that I think the deadline is it the 5th or the 6th?
The 6th.
It's the 6th. So We kind of forgot, or the holidays made us get a little confused with dates, that we need to get it on the Board of Supervisors agenda to submit before we submit. So ideally, that would be the 21st. I'm not sure, living in the real world, we're going to be able to pull that off. But it'll be tight, but I know, Monica, you're going to do the submission if you feel comfortable, if we can get it on the agenda for the 4th. We had a few kind of complications that I have to work out with Mr. Kratzner. One is it's still not totally clear on whether we have to issue a formal RFP. So we kind of need to know that, even though we wouldn't do that until we got the money or approved. SHPO doesn't require an RFP the second time around, but LMT might. And it really is a classification issue. And that's something that is beyond my decision making.
That much?
The other thing is as of now, with our estimates with Jeff, it's coming in a little above budget. And long story short, with the archiving stuff, I thought I was going to be able to cut from another line to do it. So we might have to ask the township for a few more $1,000s. So I'm going to address those two concerns with Dave tomorrow, but I still think we proceed in getting this all going.
Yeah, because the RFP, that doesn't really have anything to do with the application. That's
Yeah.
just us, we have to figure that out.
To give Dave everything at once.
Yeah.
He likes to know all his information, which I appreciate.
But that won't slow down the application. I mean, my question, Joe, if you know this, I mean, I think having it, I need the budget, but other than that, I could have, it's not that hard to have it
Yeah.
for a week from tonight. The question is the letters. I doubt I will have the letters by then, but do we need the letters for the Board of Supervisor?
Words?
Yeah,
No, I don't think the Board of Supervisors need to see our support letters from Sanacero and Perry in order to.
they just need to see that.
Yeah, you just need to see the application and know the money. Okay.
So if you think you could get me the budget by the 20th, I think I mean, when do they need it for the 21st? How early do I have to get
I
it?
need to just when I talk to Dave tomorrow, I can ask him if the chair is willing to put it on the agenda on the next one and why we're time pressured, and we'll see if that can happen.
Yeah, because I personally would love to get on the 21st just in case it gets bumped. I want a little wiggle room because that happens. And
Yes.
I just don't want to put ours, I don't
And then
think why they would.
Somebody needs the materials. Typically, I think they have to, Katie usually posts the agenda for the meeting the Friday before. I'm assuming that that's when she sends the packets out. So we would probably need something to that before.
Day after tomorrow.
Yeah. So you and I can coordinate tomorrow and see whether we can pull it off for the 21st or not.
So Monica, I think based on what Cathy said, Jeff sent me a budget already, right? And what we were tweaking a little bit was trying to bring it back down into the range we have budgeted. If Cathy's open to talking to Dave about, us being a couple thousand over, then I would say the budget we have is fine to go forward with. I'll send it to you tonight. I'll also send you the, kind of a draft format. I didn't do a project plan as elaborate as you did with colors and timeline stretching.
Okay, I like doing that. People love colors. I can do that.
But I did have a start date and end date, right? So
that's great. That's all I need. I can fill in the rest.
So I'll send you what I have. I'm waiting for input from Jeff, but I should have that Friday, and that would be the last piece you need to fill in. So I think that, outside of that piece, outside of the project plan, we can have the whole thing by Friday.
So yeah, I would say you send it to Monica, proceed as if everything is okay.
Yeah.
I will reach out to Dave tomorrow and explain our budget dilemma and see if he's okay with proceeding. If he's not, then I will communicate with the two of you and we'll have to figure out how to pull it back. It would be less years or something. But I feel like it's only a few $1,000s. I feel like we can work with the township on this.
Because of their match, that's the issue?
No, we get the grant is for $25,000. We actually put the match in our budget, but they do have to do a 10% match. But Jeff's budget is somewhere closer to 30 and change. Joe sent me the exact number. And then there was a whole insurance issue that, oh my God, we fought about for weeks last time that we're going to try to negotiate as far as who pays Jeff Marshall's insurance.
Got it. Okay.
So those are the things I just have to get some clarity from Mr. Kratzner on.
I mean, the real issue is the 1945 end date, right? You just can't pick random dates to do these things, right? Like, and after World War II, the housing world changes dramatically because of the GI Bill and then because of the interstate highway system, right? So taking that period up to then historically makes sense, right? Because they're all is very common.
That's
Then
actually, Joe, I was gonna say, it's actually the coming of US Steel. The
Well, that's
fact that
here locally.
US Steel comes to Fairless is what builds all the housing right around Big Oak Road.
Right. So, I mean, we originally looked at pushing it a little bit further, but the houses just go up, I mean, dramatically in like 1947, 1948. A lot of that is because of the interstate system is because, well, not the interstate system, it's because of transportation, it's because of US Steel, it's because of the GI Bill, right? You have to have a logical ending point. It's 1940, it is 1945, 1945. We have 300 some resources, and that's what's driving Jeff's budget. So,
And
that's-
to put it in perspective, he evaluated somewhere around 200 last time or something like that. So it's a significant, we're asking him to do,
300, yeah.
yeah, I mean, he's going to do less depth on a lot of the
Yeah.
houses because some of them are just going to be pictures and, the basics because, there's 1,000 of the same houses, but still it is a big jump in number.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Can we move on?
Please.
All right. Slate Hill. Any Slate Hill updates, and why don't you give a quick status on the headstones?
Yeah, we have a handful of headstones that once the initial work was done, we went through and found a few more that we felt like needed a little more love. One that had been placed a little close to Frank's property that we want to bring a little bit closer, a footstone. So we just think the person probably wasn't as tall as we initially thought. So they're coming back to do, what did we say, 16? I forget off the top of my head. It's in the document. 16 more markers. And we have the budget approval on that. It falls within the okay of overages on the project. And we're still significantly below the grant that we were given and approved by the matching by the supervisors. I just submitted our quarterly report and I made them aware of that we're under the budget. And that's it. It's great. It looks beautiful if you haven't gone in.
Oh, it's amazing. And yeah,
On Van Sant.
The original John Van Sant is in there and we still have the veteran marker on the side. It's actually, I think, in our, it's off. It's not in the ground.
What, the original, I mean, the new tombstone is not in the ground?
Correct. It's the way it was when we last spoke.
Can we get that planted?
Well, we still haven't been able to confirm he's there.
I've asked Ambrose to go to Carlisle, but I will take care of that. I'm pretty sure he's there.
Okay, yeah, let us know because they can't do the work till the ground thaws. So we have a few months.
actually, they're probably not going to do the work till September. Monica and I,
He's in that spot.
The spot I don't think matters that much.
To the Van Sant.
Mhm.
The second question that goes along with that is, are we going to request a tombstone for Peter? For the.
That I don't think we have any proof that he's there. Yeah, if you can prove he's there, we just haven't been able, we've been trying so hard.
There, right?
No,
No.
no, it's a different Peter Van Sant. It's not him.
How is it a different Peter Van Sant?
can we talk about this another time? I don't think this is something that needs to be discussed at the full meeting. Yeah, long story short, we put in for $65,000, $60,000, something around that total cost. The initial grant came in like super, we're way under.
Like half.
And Monica and I did a lot of dancing over the holidays to get the invoice in before the end of 2025. And Dave worked with us on that so that Roth has actually already been paid, but they won't do the work until the summer because they're so booked out. But they have to do it by September because
For the grant,
of
yeah.
the grant.
Yeah.
Right, we can move on. We can skip past project because we already talked about that. Helen, can you briefly update us on 250?
Can't do anything briefly. And my age, I'm giving myself permission. to-
Amen, girl. Go for it.
Just go.
Working hard on 2026. I am very excited about 2026. I've worked with Monica over at Park and Rec with 2026. And I feel that this township deserves a great 2026. It improves all of our property values that we live in such a historic site. The first year we lived here, or second year we lived here, a big snowstorm came out. My son went over to there was a big
250, stay on 250.
well, pile up of dirt around Toll Brothers' houses. and he came home with a 12-pound cannonball.
That's so cool.
That tells me that this is the place where the Revolutionary soldiers crossed into Pennsylvania from New Jersey, using all of our available roads, turned to the right and went north. And some of them stopped briefly, probably 3 or 4 days, camped in Lower Makefield. And that is the evidence. I can find Minnie balls in the woods behind our house. Katie McVan lives there next door.
Okay, we don't need the
Anyway.
evidence, we need the plan.
Capsule, Joe, you said you had a time capsule you're willing to donate to this? The time
That's
capsule,
not mine. It was,
Ours.
we were awarded.
There's an
Yeah, I have-
award given to Historic Commission that is in
but we
his
have
basement.
something that we can use.
Yes.
Yes.
I would like to look at it so I can give it the meets and bounds. I'm going to go to each of the schools to get people working on what should go in that time capsule, and there'll be an award for the best suggestions.
Great
For the
job.
time capsule, that is our April campaign. In Memorial Day, May 25th, we are going to plant that time capsule, probably somewhere at Slate Hill Cemetery, to be opened in 2076.
Awesome. I love
Big
that.
day of that. June 14th is Flag Day. I want Lower Makefield to fly their flags, any flags you want. I don't care what color they are, what shape they are, and whether they're upside down. We're flying our flags, and we're going to have a bike race. July 4th, we're going to have a live reading of the Declaration of Independence from the steps of the Township Building. There'll be sign-in books for everybody who attends the ceremony, and the books will be open for a week at the community center. August, the British attack Long Island. We're in a panic. There's a call to purchase maps to find out where we are. I am suggesting that this committee put together, I'll be happy to forward it, a map of LMT that shows all the high points. We can use the houses that are designated from Jeff and put that out for sale at the Township Building all through September. August. September, we're going to suggest tour guides, take people on a guided tour. We can use this old house tour book plan circuit, and people can schedule tours. Maybe Monica would help me with coordinating that. October ghost tour. I hope we can get a special stone installed for Peter Van Sant, but we'll work on that as well. That has to be planned at least by June. That application has to be in, or we won't get the stone. November, these are all free. I mean, these are all things that we're doing without any kinds of money outlay. However, the final event will require at least porta potties from the township, and I hope they'll spring for that. November 14th is going to be a camp out at our Joshua Anderson's farm where they originally camped, and there's notations and data to prove it, that the original battalions of militia, especially from Bucks County, from Berks County, from Philadelphia County, there wasn't a Montgomery County yet, so from Chester County, Lancaster County, all came here to assist the people coming across from New Jersey at the front of Washington's command. It's a one-night official camp out, open to Scouts, Boy Scouts, and Girl Scouts. So they will come with all the signs already. They'll have to pay a small fee, but to camp at Macclesfield, Monica said we can use the back half, which is basically Joshua Anderson's farm. They'll be camping on actual ground. We will have a reading of Common Sense and a march out the next morning. That is my plan for 2025.
Okay, so what I would love, Helen, is it actually typed and written, and then kind of a plan on how it all happens, because that seems very ambitious, but I very much appreciate your energy on it.
Well, and I do feel like quite a few of those items are us just announcing, like, we're doing this as a community this day. Like, I feel like there's quite a few on there that are quite easy. I love that.
Yeah.
And there's a few that are, I think, need a good amount of pre-planning, but
We get a little bit.
but yeah, I think that's awesome. But I agree. It'd be good to get it all in writing.
Well, because volunteers, people attending,
Yeah.
all of that, so,
The word out and everything, but
Yep. Okay.
I loved it.
Thank you, Helen. I think that was probably as brief as a Helen can ever do, so thank you.
Great. I felt like I traveled the year. It was awesome.
Bring my cannonball.
All right, demolition ordinance status. I think this is another, to our representative. I guess we would just like some feedback in the future as to the status of this with the Board of Supervisors. And if you need anything from us, for further discussion, because as we see it, we got through a year, it went to Bucks County. They gave us feedback in February of last year, 2025, and nothing has happened since then.
Buildings are coming down at, today they were coming down at the farm across, 332.
Okay. Well, that's right, Farm, so yeah,
Yeah, right.
that got approved before we even started this.
That is the reason why we're doing this.
Well, the reason is that if this community wants to protect historic resources, if this is a commitment from the community, which the Board of Supervisors gets to decide, but we, of course, are all in favor of, there needs to be tools to do that. Right now, there is literally no tools. Like, we sent a letter in on Sutphin, but they could demolish that property by filing a permit, and we would have no say. We could maybe negotiate going in and taking a picture or two. That's our power right now. So I'm just going to leave that with you, Colin, unless you need anything else from us on that. I think that's a report back thing.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Noted.
Thank you. Cataloging township owned materials. We didn't get the heart grant, as I said previously. I still have 2 volunteers working on that. One of the budget issues that came up today is we were told that we could put Past Perfect. That's going to be the database where we're going to enter in all of that stuff that they've been numbering and stuff. We were told we could put it on the network. I came in today to meet with the network guys, and they were stroking out at that idea because the servers of this community apparently can't hold that data. So we negotiated. And the negotiation means we have to use the web-based program, which is going to cost us more money, which I thought I could take out of the budget to pay for Jeff, but I can't. So long story short, we resolved it, but the good news is it's going to be web-based, so people can enter stuff in from other locations. So, and thankfully Dawn helped me a lot and is still supporting the project, but I am hoping we can get more volunteers to help with this project, because now I'm actually having to work on it and work on that, coordinate this, do Slate Hill. I actually do have a job.
A method of determining what's truly valuable and what's just fluff.
We numbered everything in there that they decided to keep. There was some fluff removed along the way. And everything will be entered into Past Perfect. We will prioritize the scanning. And I told our young scanner, Jack, volunteer, to prioritize scanning the paperwork on our 100 recommended preserved houses list, because regardless of whether we put that into Past Perfect, we need that on the drive to document our cases to protect our houses. So that, historic maps, other stuff of value, we're not going to scan all of the minutes or other stuff like that. I think that's all I need to say, because I know Monica likes to get out by 9 o'clock for her kids, so I'm really trying here. Liz, would you like to make public comment? Because you are our public. No. Okay. So no
Thanks
public.
for being here, public.
Thank you for being our public and coming. We appreciate that very much. All right, next meeting, February 11th at 7:30. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Really? Okay, I move to adjourn. Come on, guys. I was giving someone else.
We're gonna have to go knock him around a
We got a
little.
second of
And
thing.
Dave seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No opposed? All right, good night, everyone.
Night.
Recording off.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for